something up their sleeves. Maybe this is something that they're looking to get out here. Fish winning the knife in the end, but you know, Xenex, I mean, maybe this map pick from Xenex is just purely they did well on it in the first half yesterday, and that's why they picked it. They just want to use that kind of morale boost, I guess, of that first half yesterday and say, look, we can do well on this map, and maybe we can replicate that here today.
Wasn't this Fish's map pick? If we said this was Fish's pick?
This was Fish's map pick, I'm an idiot.
There you go. That'll be right.
Good stuff.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, this is the thing, Xenex as well, as I was saying, like, a lot of the lineups that Shiki's been involved in, especially with Shaney as well, they've always kind of gravitated to this map. They played it a lot back in the day. Even when they weren't known as Xenex and you had kind of like the core three, which was JT, Shiki, Shaney, they still played Cash. So it's definitely a map that they are quite well versed on, and they were pretty good at. So hopefully we see more of that coming out today. But then again, Fish, I know they play an awful lot of Cash as well with the Contender Series that came through. It's going to be close. I think this is going to be more down to the wire than we saw on Dust 2. Definitely a lot more favoured towards Xenex, I'd say, in terms of the early game, but Fish could definitely close this out.
And unfortunately for Xenex, they are going to be on that CT side, and we talked about how they will like that T side a little bit more, or at least from what we've seen in the promotions, that's the case. I mean, we do have a very small sample pool of games to kind of analyse here between these two teams, so maybe that's not the case. Maybe they were just having a bad day yesterday and the CT sides didn't look so hot, but certainly out of that small sample pool, that is the result we've extrapolated. And now we're going to be jumping on into this game, and I'm curious to see how things are going to pan out for these two teams and whether Xenex are going to be able to get off to a better start on this CT side than what I almost feel like we're expecting at this point. But here we go. The game is finally beginning, and we'll see what starting buys we have from these two teams.
Yeah, they're going to invest quite a lot of utility onto Mighty Max straight away. The rest of them most likely going to go up with armor. What are they going to go for here? This is going to be more of an aggressive play. Possibly sending a couple of players out through main, the rest of them to try and take that mid control, use that utility, and then you go for your convergence on towards the A bomb site. But it rides on Shaney. If they can overwhelm him and push him back, then this is going to work. Shaney is going to actually fall back, gives them that mid control, works out quite well. Whether gets the opening frag as well. JT is close by on the scene, firing off. Pickles actually comes in with the first defense frag. JT will find one on towards Sliggy as well, and it falls down into a 2 versus 3 now. Joe, it's not going too fantastic for that Fish123 side. They're all hitting the deck. Pickles is going massive. A hat-trick of kills for the man, a flurry of frags, but unfortunately Weber has an idea to stop him.
Yeah, and he might be in a 2 versus 1, but if there's anyone that can live up to this situation, it's going to be Weber. He knows where the bomb is, but he's still got 1:10 minutes to play with, so he knows he's got time to maybe look at some different routes, look at a bit of a diverse way to take this round on. But obviously Xenex, they're well aware of the position that that bomb is in, and they're going to be able to watch these angles. Shiki just waiting for Weber to peek and looks for the shot, but can't actually find that headshot in the end. Weber isn't going to be able to hit it either, though. Shiki finally shuts him down, and it is going to mean that Xenex get off to a good start.
Xenex, getting that pistol round, this is what they need. You set your sort of, you know, you get your heels sunk in early enough, you're able to sort of set out the path now for the rest of the game. The only thing that I'm a little bit worried about after seeing this buy, you've only got one long-range buy, which is going to be on Pickles. He's got that M4. The rest of them investing heavily into those SMGs. One of them being the MP9 on Shaney. He can try and go for an aggressive play here if they try and work their way out through B, find those frags, but it's not working out greatly. Max comes in with a frag on towards JT. Shiki is able to blow Shiki out of the server, but Windansky, another frag now on towards Pickles. This is what was terrifying me. When you go that heavy onto SMGs, you don't have too much range capability. And when you've got deagles on Fish123, you can use that from that distance. Go for those one-taps, just slow, complacent shots, and you're going to be able to pick out Xenex.
Yeah, and now Xenex with just 3 members remaining. They do still have that weapon advantage. They are still going to have the M4 in the hands of Shaney, but when you're outnumbered, sometimes that's just not enough, and especially with these upgraded pistols, the headshots will mean a lot. Windansky gets another Mighty Max as well, chimes in. Suddenly Brody finds himself all alone on this server. He finally does get at least an answer, but in a 1 versus 3, his work is more than just cut out for him here. Keita going to be laying in wait behind those boxes, but he is not messing around, charging onto the scene. Keita's there though, and we'll pop him off from behind.
I'm really not a big fan of that buy. I don't like that when you got overly invested into SMGs like that. It just doesn't work out overly well. You know, I mean, you can go for the SMGs because you want to try and get the cash builder. You do it as that sort of round to try and give yourself a lot more to play with later on into the game. But especially when you play into their hands like that, you're charging in. Pistols at their most effective in close range combat. You're running straight in with a weapon like an MP9 in the hands of Shaney, just trying to overwhelm them. Sure, you've got the numbers game, but when you're just getting picked off by a Deagle just spammed at from close quarters, it's never going to work out well for you. So Xenex, they basically punished themselves. They've been defeated into that round. Now Fish, massive advantage in terms of rifle capability, and they're able to play off the back of range here easily enough as well. When Dansky and Weber come in with 2 frags of their own, Shiki trapped on his lonesome, he's going to hit the deg off the back of Sliggy, just tapping away with that Glock, and it falls to Brody and Pickles. This round basically as good as done.
Yeah, that is certainly the case here. 5 players still remaining for Fish123. Keita does manage to find one onto Brody as well, so Pickles suddenly alone in the world. He's got a P250, but he needs some miracles, some miraculous headshots at this rate if he wants to get anything out of this round. They are going to be chasing him on down. He's down in mid though. Actually decides not to shoot at that player. He wants something more out of this round. He's looking for a weapon, I think, but maybe should have gone for the shot down mid, as he is going to get caught out by Weber. Taken out, and now moving on into the 4th round. Xenex have a choice here. They could go for a force. They have the money to make something happen with SMGs and FAMASs, but they decide it's just going to be upgraded pistols and a little bit of utility.
Yeah, it's not a fantastic buy, but it's what they have to play with into this one. I mean, if you play on those close angles, just playing duos like that and allow the push to come towards you, you might get a little bit of a drop on Fish123, possibly find a couple of frags, but it's going to be hard. Fish, especially with Sliggy right now with the MP9 that he grabbed from the first couple of rounds with Shaney, he could rack up an awful lot of cash if they go overly aggressive, push past Sunroom, if he just has trigger patience here.
Well, if he finds the opportunity, he would be able to make some serious action happen, but it's down to whether his opponents are going to allow such a scenario to occur. Weber going to be here with his M4 as Mighty Max finds Pickles. Keita takes out Brody as well. 3 CTs remain. The P250 in the hands of Shaney. He's going to be looking to try and pop some heads, but so far unable to land his shots, and Keita will finish him off in the end. Shiki does find one, but picks up the UMP and gets taken out while he's trying to load the weapon.
So a nice snappy round coming out. Look at the effect on their cash as well. You can see the economy booming out of control now for Fish123 off the back of those SMGs. Sliggy still actually opting to hold on to the MP9. This is quite risky. Definitely a very headstrong decision to say the least. If he goes in just as a little bit of a sacrifice, opens it up with the entry, obviously basically what they're going to do is walk up close to the wall, jump round, face the angle. Keita finds the initial frag as well as he just obliterates Sheik, which is fantastic. JT doing his best impression of a TV dinner here as he just sits inside vents, waiting to pop out at the right time. When Dansky comes in with a frag on towards Pickles, will rip his head clean off. Brody here waiting outside the smoke as well. They need to converge on towards the site, but it's dire stakes. They don't have too much left into the round, so the decision might be called to just fall back and save. No reason to throw these weapons callously into the wind.
Yeah, and especially when you've got that AWP in the hands of Shaney, you want to keep hold of that $5,000 weapon. It's going to be an important one moving into future rounds, and Xenex, especially when they're going into the 6th round having lost another couple, it's not going to be good news for them, and they need every single dollar they can scratch together. JT is going to get found, though, by Windansky. And actually, these 2 Xenex players, they're running out of space here. Their hiding spots are slowly but surely getting found out, but I don't know whether Fish are going to commit to finding these, whether they're going to commit to the fight for the hunt on this one. Shaney does manage to find one. In fact, he finds 2. Brody went down, but Shaney gets 2 kills for himself and brings the AWP on through.
Yeah, so at least they are able to actually get away with that weapon, obviously. In the hands of Shaney, we know it can be quite a damaging factor. If he's able to find those first initial frags on the board, kick off the round, and really come in with that high-octane style of CS, it could work out well. But it all rides on him, basically, at this point. They don't have anything else to play off, really no utility at all apart from one smoke, and just on these measly pistols, it's going to be hard. Close angle in play there coming out from Shiki and JT. Was playing from Lumgy, so he could have tried to caught him off guard, but just goes for the straight up face anyway and does best Weber. Keita will fire back, takes one down. JT is going to fall off the back of Mighty Max, and this round is starting to crumble, but Shaney at least still has the AWP. He hasn't dropped it just yet. Yeah,
he's still going to have that to work with. Brody and Pickles with the 2 mini AWPs. Well, I don't know if they're really going to be able to make too much happen in this round. Pickles is going to look to maybe get some pot shots off, maybe look for just a free kill to damage the economy, but now that he's been spotted out, I think he's having second thoughts about the situation. I think Brody as well, just looking for exit frags. He is going to find Windansky in the end, but he looked away at the worst possible moment. It meant Windansky has that advantage in the fight. And Pickles as well, going to be forced back into his spawn. Actually, Sliggy on the hunt will get caught out. A nice little headshot there coming out from the Deagle, but Keita immediately there to punish him. Shaney has run to the hills with his big green gun, and it is going to be no one can finish him off. And again, they take that up through into the next round, and they can finally cobble together a bye.
Yeah, the bite is going to be coming out. Depends what they're going to go for. Obviously, Shaney's still harbinging that AWP. He has it on him. The rest of them with the M4s. Brody is going to go for an M4 as well. Nice utility across the board. Shaney only one without kit. Did have the money to buy one, but isn't actually going to bother. No reason to get 5 kits out, I guess, if he doesn't feel like it. But into this round, let's see how it goes. Keita, he has the AWP on the T side. Scouting out mid right now, having a sniff around, see if anyone is going to be peeking out. Shaney had the better angle and had the drop on him as he peeked from Sugar Cube there just over by short and was able to dispatch him very quickly. Still focusing towards boosts, but Windansky has already dropped down by garbage and just waiting to go for that peak. When the call is made by Mighty Max, pops out, nice damage transferred over, but can't quite get the kill onto Shaney just yet, and it seems like he might actually get away with his life here.
He was looking for a kill as well, but a nice little shoulder peek by Windansky means that the shot will not connect, and he finishes off Shaney. Turns it into a 4 versus 4 as well. The AWP in favour of Fish123. Windansky still surviving on 10 HP with that one in his hands, and should be able to do some damage later on in the round if he can find himself in a good angle. Fish123 still in a fantastic position when it comes to rounds, still in a fantastic position when it comes to money. But in terms of this round specifically, it is just about even, and with Windansky so low on HP, maybe this is something that Xenex can work with.
There is potential, and they are running thin on utility right now on the side of Fish. Meanwhile, Xenex still looking quite healthy. As they wait for this push to come out, Brody has to kind of be the point man, has the backup of Pickles close by on the scene as well. This A defense needs to be massive. Windansky, low HP, but still ever confident as he peeks around with that AWP, trying to find those initial openers. Weber with a man to get it, though, as he takes down Pickle. Sliggy as well with the frag on towards Shiki. Brody, can he find these frags? He needs to do the damage, has to try and hold this round together for his teammates as they peek out on towards the site. Time is of the essence. We'll take down Brody, but oh look, it's all been an elaborate ruse. Meanwhile, the B-bomb site has been under assault, and they have that bomb planted now.
They certainly do. It's JT over towards that site. He's going to look for the retake, but Sliggy isn't going to allow anything to happen. Brody's at the wrong side of the universe right now, and he's just going to once again try and hold onto a weapon. He got punished last time he hit here, but with how far away he is, he might just be able to get away with it regardless and hold onto that rifle, move it on into the next round. And to be quite honest, Xenex desperately need that to be the case because they haven't got all that much money to be talking about, and holding on to those weapons is going to be incredibly important for them. Should be able to get away with it though in the end. Mighty Max escaping at the last second there with his own life, and in fact it means that the score is now 1-6. Fish123 running away with things once more. This is reminiscent of that first map here today. Xenex were able to pick things up towards the second half of Dust 2. We'll see whether they can pick things up a little bit earlier here on Cash.
Yeah, can they turn the tides early, or a Fish123 only shaking a little bit and still going to be able to keep this boat sailing for a long time? That is going to be the story, Joe. We're just going to have to wait and see. JT close here on the angle, trying to slip in towards garbage. Will eventually get into that position, but he's been sniffed out. They're completely aware of it. Pickles Deagle in hand. We know he can actually be quite a damaging character with this weapon, but unfortunately won't actually be able to find the opening frag. Windansky can take down JT, and mid-control is slipping into the favour of Fish, especially when Pickles as well has to rotate off and gets punished by Keita with the AWP.
Yeah, and once again we see Xenex on the back foot. They managed to get a buy together. They had some rifles to work with, but it doesn't seem to matter. Every single aim battle they lose. Keita finds yet another one onto Brody. Shiki falls, and Shaney, the last man remaining, is on the wrong side of the map. He is going to be able to find one onto Windansky, so silver lining there for the player on Xenex, but he's just going to be hunted down. Fish123, they've got the money to look for these fights. Sliggy is going to drop though. Headshot coming out from Shaney using that P250. But I feel like Shaney, he's running out of life expectancy at this point.
And there you have it, just as you said. He has been taken down. Mighty Max has eliminated him.
And there we have it. 9th round now. 7-1 is the score. It is not looking all too bright here for Xenex. Fish123 have started this second game by storm, and they're looking to repeat the performance that they had on Dust 2. Full buy, as ever, from the Fish123 lineup. Ooh. Sheiky, though, with a nice little shot on his deagle. Sliggy evens things up onto JT, but in a pistol round, you don't expect to be losing those long-range battles.
Especially not. That's a fantastic frag to actually get that opener on towards Windansky there from Boost as well. He could have caused some havoc as he was up top. Really would have aided Fish123 in getting a lot more mid-control. And Sliggy on a bit of a roll right now. A 2K comes out. The juicy double. Mighty Max will take down Shaney. And it falls onto Sheiky and Brody, though. One of them at mid, and Sheiky traps on the B-bomb site all on his lonesome as Brody gets picked off. His brother-in-arms has been eliminated by Weber. And here comes that convergence on towards the B-bomb site. A minute left on the clock. Sheiky, can he find these frags, or is it going to be a one-sided affair? Takes down Keita, but Mighty Max can fire back.
Yeah, and he will do so. Sheiky goes down, and it's another round in the bag for Fish123, making it look as easy as ABC. Xenex, they've got something to work with here. Full utility. They've got an AWP in the hands of Shaney. And Shaney, to be honest, has been doing pretty damn well in this series. Like, in terms of specific mechanics, Shaney has been the guy that's been standing out on the side of Xenex. He's yet to really make a dent in the scoreboard this game, but certainly on Dust 2, he was the one that was making things happen for his team. Now that he's got that AWP, maybe he can do a similar thing here on Cash. I don't know if it's really going to be enough, to be honest. Keita jumps on top of his teammate and finishes off Brody. Pickles on the scene, but he's going to be heavily outnumbered.
Pickles will flash in, though. Unfortunately for him, everyone has backed out at that point. And Keita, 2 frags already into this round. This is looking good. Weber will get taken down by Shaney, so the AWPs are absolutely reigning supreme at this point. Will Shaney be able to sniff out Keita and actually take him down? 31 HP left on him, but obviously that doesn't matter when you get penetrated by the bullet from an AWP. Molotov will go out trying to force him out of position, but it won't quite connect and spread just yet, so he is able to still hold his ground. Keita peeks round just as he catches sight of Shaney, though. He will be able to fire off that bullet and take him down into a 3 versus 3. Meanwhile, towards the B-bomb site, they're tiptoeing their way up. JT is there all on his lonesome, so it really does ride on him. Sliggy, if he can get the opening frag, it would be absolutely fantastic as Windansky's low, so Sliggy has to do the main part of the job right now. Jumps up on top of the boxes, trying to find the frag, can best JT, and they have the site on lockdown.
Yeah, Shaney, despite his stellar performance earlier in the round, despite those 2 kills, he's miles and miles away from the situation. They've got to charge across this map. The bomb has only just gone down, though, so they've still got a little bit of time to play with here on this CT side, but Sheiky's been found by Sliggy, and that is going to put a real damper on the situation. As Shaney arrives on the scene, Sliggy's going to be there. We've actually got a disconnect from one of the players on Fish123. I'll assume that we'll get a pause at the end of this round quickly. Yeah. But it is going to be, once again, a Fish123 round. And honestly, you know, I was saying earlier on, this is reminiscent of the first half of Dust 2. I was kind of being pessimistic there. I was expecting Xenex to get further into the game, but now we're starting to get towards that half-time mark. It's really looking dicey.
Yeah, this is looking kind of dire right now for Xenex. Every time they get an opportunity, it just slips away at the final hurdle. And even when they're able to get the opening frag, set the pace of the round, and really come in hard and fast, it's just not working. Every time, Fish just lock them down and suffocate them.
They certainly do. And we've got that player back onto the server. It is going to be Mighty Max. And we should be just about ready to go once more. Not 100% sure what happened to him that round. He was actually alive, so that could have been worse than it was. But, you know, when you're on the winning side, you got plenty of money to work with as well. It's not going to be the end of the world when one of your players DC, and I don't think there's going to be any issues coming out from Fish123 in regards to that. But another buy available for Xenex. They've got 3 Famouses, they've got 2 M4s, and we'll see if there's anything that they can make happen here. A decent amount of utility as well. This is a round that, you know, if they can win just a couple of aim battles, if they can make things happen here, this is a winnable round for them. But it feels like the morale has been broken this entire series, to be quite honest.
Yeah, they really have been kind of down in the dumps. This is what we saw before as well, where they just get beaten and beaten. Just constant digs being dished out from Fish123. It was what we saw reminiscently with Heinz as well. So Xenex, they have to snap back into it. We know they can bring it to the table. They have that talent in this roster. We just need to see it shine through. But they get the opener. Once again, Windansky's going to get picked off as the round starts. A good play from Xenex so far. Can they try and continue this on, though? Oh, Keita.
Needs to chill out a little bit there, mate. That was a sick little shot onto Brody, but I don't know. As we get a 4 versus 4 on our cards here, I don't know who's really going to be able to take this one, but it feels like it's going to be Fish123, even without an advantage in people, even without an advantage, or too much of an advantage in weaponry. It always feels like they have the advantage in these scenarios. It always feels like any of these one players on Fish123 can just step up and make crazy things happen on each round. Shiki actually going to be the one to find the first kill though, and it means Sliggy goes down, and now Xenex with a bit of an advantage on this defensive side. If they can find the bomb, maybe they can make this happen.
There is potential. And Pickles as well, in this elevated angle, this is one of those things where it really can pay off a lot of the times, but Max going to clear it, aware, switched on, it's a good play there. He's going to be able to punish him for that. Leaves them in a 3 versus 3. That bomb will just go down in time, and they can just try and hold these angles. Shaney will take down Keita, is able to rip his way into him. Actually doubles it up now as well as he punishes Mighty Max, and it falls to Weber, the man himself. Can he go on to get a hat-trick to win this round for Fish123? Finds one headshot on towards Shaney, but he still needs to get 2 more. Goes for the fake tag with a pistol and takes down JT as well, and he's on for it. He wants to try and get the hat-trick, hungry for the frags. Will land the tackle towards Shiki, but it's not meant to be. Shiki switches round and will land the headshot to punish Weber and keep Xenex in the game now.
I've got to say, that final little peek from Weber was very greedy. Same angle, just trying to finish off that player. And, you know, realistically, Shiki should win that fight. He's already got the angle covered, and he does manage to do so. Weber gets shut down in the end. Had Weber been a little bit more patient, I feel like that would have been a Fish123 round. He could have just waited for the defuse, just played time on it. But that's not really Weber's style, to be honest. He wants to go for those flashy plays and does get punished for it in the end. Xenex, they get a second round on the board. They get a little bit of a breath of life here. And hopefully they can actually turn this into something. Sliggy opening things up here for Fish123. JT is going to be the one to drop. Shiki's found himself in mid. He's going to have to back away as he's pressured through vents. But is going to be able to get away with his life.
Weber just a bit of a spin there. Spin to win, Joe.
Spin to win, indeed.
Spin to win. That was always the matter. The Molotov's coming out on towards the site. Brody is going to get crisped a little bit. It's getting hot in here. Let's take off all your Brodies.
Well, they already have. Or they're about to, at least, as he's over towards quad and getting tagged pretty heavily. 49 HP remaining, and they're about to push on into him. Fully flashed as the fight begins, but he actually manages to get one onto Weber, using that FAMAS to its full effect, but Keita finishes him off in the end with the Tech 9. And Shaney all alone. And after finally getting something on the board, unfortunately, it's looking like the hard reset going to come on through here. Xenex in all kinds of trouble. Their economy going to be an absolute disaster after this round. Shaney is going to be able to survive at least on 9 HP here. But there's still 2 terrorist players. They're just going to go over to the B site. Shaney, he's got to pull out a Hail Mary here. He's got to pull just something ridiculous out. Because on 9 HP, this is a very tall order.
He is in that elevated angle, trying to find these frags. If you can turn this to 1 versus 1, it might still be to play for. But left on 9 HP, it's really going to be a hard task. Max will flash him over. Windansky will come in for the frag, lands a headshot, and batters him. Xenex completely reset. No money left to play with at all. Shaney, the only one with anything.
Moment in silence. A moment of silence for Team Xenex as a economy.
Raise your candles.
Raise your cans.
He's actually going to opt to go for that as well with the buyer here, as we see him whipping out that M4 and the rest of them with the 5.7s. Let's see if this can come into effect. Shaney, obviously, if he takes point and actually gets a couple of opening frags, they definitely could set the pace of the round, and Shaney does just that. Punishes Mighty Max, gets a slip through the smoke as well, and gets the drop on Fish123 here. Still on 100% HP, hasn't received any damage. Windansky will finally find him and lands the bullet straight between his eyes, just batters him down. So it is into a 4 versus 4, and just those pistols left standing. Brody in a bit of a tight spot, but will get one frag before he's shredded out by Windansky. Pickles as well comes in for some of the action, but Weber can punish him. Left now in a 2 versus 2.
Absolutely. Shiki and JT, the 2 defenders remaining. Make that 1 defender remaining as JT finds himself all alone in the world. He's got a 5-7 to work with, but in a 2 versus 1. And when you're against Weber, apparently it's going to be a pretty good situation as he nails him. And suddenly Sliggy, maybe going to be sweating a little bit. Does have an AK though, so realistically should be able to win that fight and is going to be able to pick that one up in the end. 2-11 is the score as we head into round 14. And you know, Fish123, they've not quite done as well as on Dust 2, where they managed to end the first half 14-1. But, you know, 13-2, not the worst score in the world. But they haven't quite got it yet, so we'll see if that is going to be the case. But Sliggy starting things off just right there.
Yeah, that fast play towards mid, you just try and take the aggression, hope you can catch them across guard if they're trying to play on the close angles, which he did. Finds Shaney, is able to put him into an early grave, so this is good for Fish here, definitely up against these pistols as well. You've got the man advantage, you have the advantage in terms of Arsenal as well. This should be a fairly snappy round. Xenex, they're getting pent in. Sliggy has all that short control, he can just wander his way up, bide his time here, so when they all converge on the site, it should be easy picks.
Well, Windansky is going to find one easy pick, but Shiki answers with a headshot of his own. And, you know, in those kind of situations when you're just trading back and forth, it's always going to go to the team that has the better weapons. It's always going to go to the team that has more men to start with. Sliggy finds yet another pick for himself. He's going to push on him, but Brody punishes him for that callous play. And now Pickles over towards the B site. He's going to hear that bomb being planted. Maybe they can go for some kind of miracle retake with the Desert Eagle and the AK. They could make something happen if they can find that first headshot and even up the scoreline. But it's definitely going to be a tall task, and that's like smoke to kind of single out Windansky, but it's not enough. And now Pickles all on his own. The Desert Eagle shouldn't really be enough to take this 1 versus 3, and he's fully blinded. And Keita actually ends up behind him before he finishes them off. That is going to be another round for Fish123, and as we head into the final round of the first half, Fish123 once again have dominated Xenex.
Yeah, this has been crushing. Fish really just ripping their way through them. No signs of just slowing down at all. I mean, just absolute utmost ferocity on display. So crazy to witness. And Xenex pumping every last penny they had into this buying, just scavenging what they can. And it's going to be hard, though, for them to do really anything into this. Sliggy does get taken down, though. Shiki actually finds the frag with his 5-7 as he spams his way into his cranium there to get that juicy little opener into the round. But still, a 4 versus 5.
Certainly is. But again, these kind of suboptimal weapons in the hands of the Xenex players. 2 UMPs, an AK, and then 2 Desert Eagles. Is it going to be enough to win out these gunfights in the future? Shaney just waiting around this corner. He's going to look for Windansky, but not actually going to be able to finish off that kill just yet anyway. As Mighty Max heading over towards this A site, he is going to be the bomb carrier himself. As Weber almost taking out Brody there with a nice little spray through the door.
I'm going to use this Molotovs to try and draw people out of their position, zone them out a little bit and make it harder for them to actually hold their ground. This is looking good so far as they start to make their push up on towards the bomb site. Windansky, though, blind, dazed and confused, can't quite find their frags, but it won't matter as Weber and Mighty Max come into play. Mighty Max with the double kill now as well, and Keita with one on towards JT. And it rides all on Shaney. UMP in hand, Flashbang goes over, gets himself up into that little awkward angle. He's confused them a little bit with the audio cue. They're not quite sure where he were until Keita eventually did spot him out. Shane just holding his ground, knows he has to try and find both of these frags in fairly pacey time as he doesn't have a kit, and it isn't going to be meant to be. Mighty Max finds the headshot, just batters him down there, and they pick up another round.
And Fish123 going to move into the second half on a very convincing scoreline. And again, we see the situation where it's, if Fish123 can win the pistol, they've pretty much got the game guaranteed. That's what we thought it was going to be last time, but it was simply not the case. They had 14 rounds and then they won the pistol, and they still weren't quite able to make the game happen as quickly as they would have liked. They ended up losing 7 rounds in a row off the back of it. But Fish123, I think they're going to be looking to try and make this a little bit more convincing in the second half this time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is the thing. They can't really allow that to happen as well. They just want to close it out quickly if possible, because at this point, if you come into it hard and fast, you get that pistol like we saw last time around on Dust 2, but then actually close down those last few rounds. I mean, that's the game over at that point, once again. But we've seen them do it in the past. You get pistol, and then things just sort of seem to crumble. They can't close it out. They lose that level of consistency, and I wouldn't be surprised, especially with Xenex now on their T-half. There's some chance for some very explosive CS coming out here. Xenex, if you get this opener, you start to get yourself in a little bit of a roll. They could punish Fish for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, we said this yesterday as well. Xenex, they love that T-side. They love T-side of cash, and that's where they took it to Hines. And JT starting things off with his own pistol here, but Weber is going to answer for it. Gets shut down in the end by Shaney, and it's 2 versus 3 in favor of Xenex. Sliggy immediately proving me wrong, though, as he finds the head of his opponent using that USP. And the call will go out from his teammate here. Windansky has spotted the terrorist pushing onto this B site. That is going to cause the rotation from Sliggy to come on through. He's looking for the flank, though, which means if they can push in correctly, if Windansky and Sliggy work together, they might just be able to make this retake happen.
Nate does roll in. A little bit of transferred damage on towards Pickles. He just gets tagged as well by Windansky. They're just trying to bait them out if necessary. Just try and draw them into his trap. Unfortunately for the timing, it seemed like Sliggy should have been able to get that frag, but it doesn't work out. Pickles takes him down. Windansky will find the frag onto Brody in the meantime. Taps the bomb, trying to draw out the patience of Pickles, hoping he'll face. Pickles, smart stuff from the man himself. He doesn't face until he absolutely needs to. Windansky as well, struggling. Won't be able to find the frag, and Pickles takes them down.
And that is a much, much needed round for Xenex. They win the pistol, and maybe off the back of that, they can make something magical happen, because we saw it on Dust 2. They managed to string a whole bunch of rounds together in this second half. Maybe they can make that same thing happen here. Xenex going with a full SMG buy here. 4 UMPs and a MAC-10. And already making it work for themselves, as Keita is going to be the first one to drop.
There's SMG buys like this when you invest so heavily, a lot more forgiving when you're in a T side, because basically you're charging straight in like that, but you can also still poke from the distance when it comes to these pistols. Fish123 though, they're trying to take the fight to them. They're charging in with his deagles. Isn't really working out. Keita lost that the scout he bought very early on. Actually, they start to resurge a little bit here. Those the deagles reign supreme somehow. They're punishing Xenex, and it's a complete repeat of what we saw in the first half. Xenex, they take the pistol, but Fish bounce back and shut them down in the following round.
Well, it's a complete reverse of what we saw in the first game, because it was the complete other way around. It was Fish123 that won the pistol, overcommitted to the SMGs, and then got punished for it. This time, it's the exact reverse, but unfortunately for Xenex, it is not the reverse they were hoping for, because Fish are now 1 away from match point. They've got those weapons to work with. They're looking towards finishing this game if they can at all. Xenex, though, they have managed to get a buy together. They've got a couple of rifles. They've got a couple more UMPs to work with. And we'll see whether this almost full SMG buy from Fish123 is going to be enough on the defense.
Rifles on either side here, obviously, as well, though. As Xenex, they do have cash. It's scrapey, but they were able to get out what they could. Pickles finds the deagle frag on towards Keita. It's just all-out deagle warfare in these past few rounds. Mighty Max takes down JT. Brody with the frag back, though. Windansky, 2k on the board for him. Nice nade is going to blow Shiki out of the server. Pickles coming into the Xeno on his lonesome, unfortunately. Gets bested by Sliggy, and it falls to Shaney. He has the Kalashnikov in his hand. He's an artist with the AK, and he will find that frag on towards Webb, but he still needs to get 2 more kills to win the round for Xenex.
Here we go, Shaney pushing on in with the AK-47. He's going to head towards this A site and see if he can make something biblical happen, but the answer is going to be no. Sliggy shuts him down. It's going to be Fish123 once again on match point. Last game it felt like they were pulling a Team Liquid. Maybe it's going to be the same once more. We'll have to wait and find out, but it's only going to be upgraded pistols here for Team Xenex. They've got to force up whatever they can. Brody opted to go for that PP Bison. Or Bison, I never know what that one's actually called. Everyone seems to say it differently.
I'm more confused that Webber's just decided to go for an AUG and actually finds a frag with the AUG as well, as he just hammers in towards Shiki. Interesting stuff, but I guess that's just how it goes. Shaney will be able to fire back, takes him down. Keita obviously with that MP9 as well, that can shred through you if you don't have armor. All these players Aren't wearing their body armor though, but he's still being able to wield it efficiently. Takes down one man, so it falls on JT, Brody, and Pickles. Pickles almost as good as dead at this point though. Very green around the gills, and Mighty Max's positional play could be phenomenal. Comes in with 1 kill on towards JT, doubles it up as he takes down Brody as well, and it all falls on towards Pickles, 4 HP. He has to try and get 3 frags to keep the dream alive for Xenex, or else they will be out of the promotions here, as this is going to be the map going to Fish123 in 16-3, a fantastic fashion.
Yeah, fantastic stuff coming out from Fish123 in the end, and that second map they managed to mimic what Heinz did to Xenex yesterday, and Xenex, honestly, not having a good time of it in the promotions. I was expecting them to do so much better than they have done, and unfortunately just not really able to make things happen. They got bested by 2 mixed teams now, and that is going to mean that Fish123, they take their series 2-0.